Hello Year 4, it's Miss Martin here. I hope you're all doing well and staying safe at home. This week I've got another French video for you. It'll be focusing on our lessons from Thursday and Friday's math sessions. So our first LO is to be able to make a whole number using decimals. And to make sure we are successful, we're going to make a whole number from any tenth, to make a whole number from any hundredth, and use a part whole model to help us. And then for Friday's session, which is to make numbers with up to 2 decimal places. So to do that, we are going to make numbers up to 2 decimal places. We're going to use place value counters and a place value chart to help us. And we're also going to use a part whole model to help us partition our decimal numbers. Okay. So a quick recap. We've worked really hard on our tenths and hundredths the past week. So just to make sure we are really confident, our tenths are when we split one whole. So imagine this is our whole. So this is my one whole, and it's been split into 10 equal parts, and that is what we call a tenth. And we know that one of these tenths can be shown as either 1/10 or 0.1. And our hundredths, when we split one whole, so imagine this is our one whole, into 100 equal parts, from 1 all the way to 100. And we know each of these parts are called either 100th or 0.01. Okay. Today we are going to be using number beads to show our tenths. As we know, number beads are come in tens basically. So we are going to use those to help us add decimals together to make whole numbers. So our first question. If I have 0.1, how many more tenths will I need to make one whole, or 1.0? So I've got one of my tiny little tenths, and we know that is called 0.1. So I can write 0.1 here. Now, using your knowledge of number bonds, we can think, how many more do I have left until I make my whole? Now I know 1 and 9 makes 10. So I know I'm going to need 0.9. So I can add together to make my one whole. So it's literally like using your number bonds to add those two numbers together. So I'm adding my 1 and my 9 together to make my one whole. And over here, you can simply write 0.1 add 0.9 equals one whole. Now, let's go through the next one together. If I have 0.3, how many more tenths will I need to make one whole, also known as 1.0? So I've got 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. That is what 0.3 would look like. Now, using your number bonds, what do we add to 3 to make 10? Have a good think. Correct. We add 7 to 3 to make 10. So to make one whole, we need to add 0.3 and 0.7. And again over here, I'm going to type it this time, it's a bit easier. I'm going to add 0.3, add 0.7, which equals 1.0. Okay, now using those steps that I have just done, I want you to pause the screen and try your best to answer these 3 questions for you. And then I'm going to go through the answers in a moment. Okay, so going through the answers, I've got 0.2, so I've got 2 of these here. Let's rub the rest out actually so we can see. So I have got 1, 2. How many more do I have left till I get to my one whole? I have 0.8. Very good, because 2 and 8 make 10. Amazing. My next one, I've got 0.4. What do I add to 4 to make 10? I add 0.6 because 4 and 6 make 10. And finally, this might confuse you only because your answer is at the beginning. Our equal sign can go anywhere in our number sentence. So 0.7 add something makes 1.0. These are my number bonds. I know 7 and over here to help you, 3. So I've got 0.3. And that's what we add together to make 1.0, also known as 1 whole. Okay, moving on to our hundredths. So we're going to be doing the exact same thing. However, with our hundredths, we know our whole is split into 100 equal parts. So if I had 0.01, how many more, that should say hundredths, not tenths. Down here as well. So how many more hundredths will I need until I get to 1 whole? So let's look at my number square. This one little number here, that is 0.01. So I'm going to need all of these here. All of these numbers here to add to 0.01 to make my 1 whole. Now I'm not going to take my time counting all of these numbers. We can just simply do 100, because there are 100 squares, take away 1 equals 99. Very good. So I'm going to have my 0.01, and we know the answer is 0.99. And that is what I add together to make my whole. Then over here, we can write 0.01 add 0.99 equals 1 whole. And there's one more question here for us to do. So if I have 0.39, what am I going to add to that to make my 1 whole? So remember, you need to cross off 0.39, which is also known as 39. And then how many more do I have left until I get to 100? So I'm going to write 0.39 here. I want to get to my 1 whole here. What am I adding to that? So let's look over here. So I can cross off 0.39, so that would be 10, 20, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. And then how many do I have left? So let's count. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and then there's 1 left there. So what is my answer? Correct, it's 0.61. So I'm adding 0.39 at 0.61 to make my 1 whole. Then over here, I can simply write 0.39 as 0.61 to make 1 whole. Now again, I'm going to give you a chance to quickly try these questions, pause the screen so you can work those out before I go through the answers now. Off you go. Okay, so 0.08. What am I adding to that to make my 1 whole? So if I crossed off just 8 of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to have all of these left. So 100 take away 8 is correct, 0.92. Okay, and the next one I have 0.54. So if I crossed off all of this and then 4, how many would I have left? So I'd have 10, 20, 30, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46. So our answer is 0.46. Amazing. And finally, again, I've tricked you a little bit with that number sentence structure, but it doesn't matter where your answer is. You can look at our question here. 0.90, which would be all of this, up to 90. What do I need to add to 0.90 to get to 1 whole? So I can see what I have left is all of this bottom part, and that means I have 10. Amazing. So it's 0.10. Amazing. Okay, and the final part of our session, we're going to use place value counters and a place value chart to make numbers up to 2 decimal places. So this part is just about using your place value chart, using these counters here to help us form these numbers. So here is a place value chart with some counters in each column. So I've got a sentence over here to help us really understand decimals up to 2 decimal places. So there are how many ones in my place value chart? So this place value chart is called units, but we change it to ones, there. So how many ones are in that column? I've got 4. Right, 4 my sentence. How many tenths are there? There is 1 tenth. And how many hundredths are there? There are 3 hundredths. So my number is 4.13. And then using a part whole model, 4.13 here can be separated into 4.0 because there are 4 ones, 0.1 because there's only 1 tenth, and 0.03 hundredths because there are 3 hundredths. And then if you want to push yourself even more, you can use your column method to think, how can I add those together to make 4.13? So I've got 3 hundredths here, no more, so I'm going to simply write the 3 here. No tenths, 1 tenth, no tenths, so the answer must be 1. Don't forget my decimal point. And then 4 at 0 is 4. Simply like that. Now, using that same method I've just used, you can pause the screen back here to help you. I would like you to try your best to answer these 3 questions. So simply using a place value chart to draw the number onto the chart, and then using a part whole model to show what the number would look like if it was split into the 3 different place values. You may need to draw on another line. So I'm going to draw another one here for you. Okay, so pause the screen, off you go. Okay, the first one, 0.59. I can see there are no ones, so I'm going to leave that column empty. There are 5 tenths, so I'm going to draw 5 tenths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there are 9 hundredths, so I'm going to draw 9 hundredths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Underneath, I can put 0.59. And then using my part whole model, I can write 0.59 here. I know there are no ones. I don't really need to draw my ones in my part whole model, but there are 5 tenths. So I'm going to write 0.5 and there are 9 hundredths. So I'm going to write 0.09. We add those together and they create 0.59. Okay, my next one, 1.07. So 1.07, I can see there is 1. There is no tenths, but there are 7 hundredths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So underneath, I can write 1 decimal point, no tenths, 7 hundredths. And over here, my part whole model, I'm going to write 1.07, which can be broken into 1 whole and 0.07 hundredths. And the final one, 3.32. So this has got 3 ones, 1, 2, 3. There are also 3 tenths, 1, 2, 3, and there are 2 hundredths, 1, 2. Underneath, I'm going to write each number down so I can clearly see. 3.32. And then on my part whole model, I can now separate them. At the top, I'm going to write 3.32. I know there are 3 ones. Over here, I'm going to write 3.0. There are 3 tenths, so I'm going to write 0.3. And there are 2 hundredths, so I can write 0.02. This is a really good method for you to use so you can visualize what each decimal would look like. I think if you have struggled with decimals throughout our topic, I think it's very important for you to now start using this to help you really understand your decimals in a much deeper context, because you can clearly see what each place value looks like. Okay, so we will be coming to the end of our decimals topic next week, I think. So I'm sure you've all worked extremely hard. I've loved seeing all of the work you've been doing. Keep working hard. I'm very, very impressed with all the work you've been doing. So I'll see you next week with another maths video.